Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Brown Bears Sports Report. My name is Scott Cordischi, social media specialist at Brown University. And this week, we're happy to be joined by the Brown University men's and women's track and field team. Joining us on the show today is head coach Tim Springfield. From the men's team, senior Cam Daly, junior Bretram Rogers, and from the women's team, senior Zion Lewis and junior Gracie Whelan. First of all, thank you all for joining us. Coach Springfield, how are you doing today?
I'm hanging in there just like everybody.
Yeah, these are unique circumstances we are living through, aren't they?
Yeah, it is. I told the team it's the first time in 25 years I haven't been at a track meet the first weekend in April.
Yeah, I know for you guys, it never ends too. I mean, Coach, I've talked to you about this in the past. You know, a lot of sports have an off season. You don't. I mean, you have the outdoor season in the fall, indoor in the winter, and outdoor season in the spring. So, yeah, this is very unique for you and your sport.
Yeah, it doesn't seem quite right that I'm not in season in competition. Yeah.
Well, it's great to have you. And let's talk to some of the student athletes. We'll start with Cam. Cam, you're a senior from Meredith, New Hampshire. And I guess my question to you is, what are you doing right now besides remote learning during the week?
Yeah, not much. Letting my body recover, I guess, is the right answer. It's my first off season in like 8 years, I guess. So yeah, I actually coach might be the only one that knows much about this, but my IT band still hurts from an injury I had in the winter. So I haven't really been doing much running, just kind of doing my schoolwork and trying not to gain too much weight. That's been my been what I've been doing.
So correct me if I'm wrong, during the indoor season, you set the school record in the 5,000 meter at the BU Invitational, Did you not?
Yeah, I did, and then shortly after, had a bit of a flare up in my IT band, which still hurts somehow. But yeah, great indoor season.
Bretram Rogers is with us. Bretram, are you back home in Texas?
I am, yes.
And how are things with you and your family? I hope everybody is safe and healthy.
Yeah, everyone's doing well. Everyone's working from home. My brother works in a hospital, but he's doing well. So.
Bretram, for you, you know, the outdoor season, you were an NCAA regional qualifier in the 110-meter hurdles, and in the indoor season, third in the 60-meter hurdles at the Ivy Championship. Just talk a little bit about, you know, what you were able to do before play came to a screeching halt.
Well, the indoor season was exciting. I had a goal. I fell a little short of the goal, but breaking the school record the first meet it was amazing. Always striving to do better every meet. Coach knew I could do some great things this season, and it was good trying to live up to his expectations this season.
Zion, you're a senior from Canton, Georgia. Are you back home in Georgia right now?
I'm actually social distancing from my apartment at Brown.
Oh, you are? So you're still up here in Providence?
Yes, I am.
And I hope that you and your family are all doing well?
Yes, everybody's doing as best as we can, just trying to stay positive.
Zion, you had a terrific indoor season as well. You set the school Ivy and facility record at Cornell in the Ivy Championships. And then you qualified for the NCAA Championships in the triple jump, but you never got a chance to participate. I'm sure that had to be a little bit disappointing. I'm sure you understand why that's the case, but take us through that whole process, that whole scenario.
Yeah, so I jumped. It was my last jump of finals for the triple jump, and I ended up jumping well enough to break the school record and also break the Ivy League record. And it was just absolutely a moment of pure blissfulness and almost a state of shock, I would say. I have a video where I just crouched down and I started crying, and my teammates just surrounded me, and it was just such a beautiful moment. And I always tell everybody why I do athletics and why I put so much time and dedication into it is for these tiny little moments. And then I also had the opportunity to go to NCAA's, which it of course got cut short just right before the day of which it would start. And that was very heart-wrenching. I kind of just had a moment where I had to disconnect from everything going on and kind of really engage with myself and see how I'm feeling. But at the end of the day, I am just very grateful. I even had the opportunity to go down there and, you know, even though I wasn't able to compete with, warm up with some of like the greatest athletes. So I don't know, that was honestly just such a beautiful moment for me.
Well, you've had such a terrific career, and I'm so sorry that it's over. And we'll talk more about that in just a moment. Let's bring in Gracie Whelan, a junior from Charlotte, North Carolina. Gracie, you are also still up here in Providence. Is that correct?
Yeah, I am. And I've actually seen Zion from across the street while we've been on walks. And I saw Cam the other day in a similar fashion. Yeah, I'm still in Providence. My parents are in Charlotte and my sister works in Boston. So we're kind of apart, but we're doing well as a group. So.
Well, that's great to hear. And the indoor season for you was also a very good one. First team All-Ivy in the 400 meter, and you competed in the 4x400, the 200. I guess just take us through your winter if you can.
This winter was really exciting for me because I'd been improving a little bit in college, but I still hadn't run what my personal best from high school was. And then I was feeling really good about my training with Coach Gabu, who was our new sprint coach this year from LSU. And so I was feeling really good in practice, but of course we hadn't timed anything really yet. And we ran in December at the Alden Invitational at Brown, but it was a 300 and you don't really run that very often, so you don't equilibrate what those times fully mean. And then at the opening 400 I ran 54.9, which is almost a full second faster than I'd ever run any 400 ever, which was really exciting. So I knew I was like setting up to have a really good season, and I was able to bring it through and finally score at HEPS for the first time as an individual and get on the top of that podium. So I was really, really, really excited with that effort.
Coach Springfield, you've had a lot of student athletes, such as some of them who are joining us here on the show today, that have set all sorts of school records, Ivy League records, qualified for the NCAAs. And I'm just curious, you know, in the sport of track and field, is that how you measure your success or a program success, those types of accomplishments?
That's one of the key ways. I mean, obviously there's a team placing is really important too. And, you know, we've been as high as third in the Ivy League, but we're always trying to do better. And I think our women's team, one of the things I'm most sad about was I think our women's team was poised outdoors to move into that top tier of the Ivy League. And you know, we have some events that we're really good at that are only outdoor events, javelin throw, steeplechase. And in addition to the athletes that we had performing very well indoors, I was really excited to see the women's team take that step as a unit. But also it's both an individual and a team sport. And so I take a lot of pride. It's very important to the program, very important to our coaching staff to see athletes like Zion get to that national level. And one of the exciting things about track and field in the Ivy League is that we can compete with the Power 5 conferences. And, you know, we may not have the same depth top to bottom, but we can have a national presence. And, you know, to have Zion, that's the third year in a row we've sent people to the indoor nationals, which is only the top 16 individual athletes in each event. It's a tough ticket.
Yeah.
And so it's really exciting that we can produce those kinds of performances. And every time an athlete does that, you know, I have the same reaction, which is, you know, when Zion jumped that distance at HEPS, and you know, she made that happen through, you know, a lot of hard work. And it always comes down to the athletes putting the effort in, putting the work in. And it's really special when you see somebody do that for multiple years and then see it pay off, like what Gracie was just saying. It's kind of special when you see that happen.
Zion and Cam, a question for you. You're both seniors, and we learned earlier in the week that the Ivy League, I guess, is going to, you know, stick to its protocol in that they're not going to allow additional years of eligibility. So unfortunately, while the NCAA says you still have another year of eligibility in terms of spring sports, you cannot use that at an Ivy League school. What are your plans for next year? Do you plan on graduating and getting into the working world? Would you like to go to grad school and maybe participate for one more year in track and field next spring? Zion, let's start with you.
Sure. So I do plan on graduating, and I do have a job offer that's going to be in New York starting around August. with that said, I think that everybody knows these are very unprecedented times. And so I'm hoping that job offer still stands. If not, potentially I could see myself maybe doing another year, just using my eligibility. Unfortunately, it can't be in the Ivy League, but if it were to be in the Ivy League, I would definitely want to come right back to Brown and train with Coach Gabu and with Coach Ken.
Zion, what was your concentration, or what is your concentration? You're still finishing up here at Brown. And if you don't mind my asking, could you tell us what that job will be in?
Sure. My concentration is political science. I thought I wanted to go to law school, but I quickly pivoted into finance. And so I will be working at Goldman Sachs, and I'll be doing sales and trading.
Oh, great. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Cam, let's go to you. You're a senior as well. What's your concentration at Brown, and what are your plans after graduation?
Yeah, my concentration is BEO, and I also have a job offer that I'm hoping is standing still in actually close to Gracie in Raleigh, North Carolina. Yeah, and so I'm gonna be working for a general contractor doing construction management, and I wasn't planning on using eligibility. I don't think I will. I unfortunately only have that one outdoor season that got taken away. This outdoor season would have been my 12th straight season at Brown. So I didn't really have any more than just that outdoor. So I'm just gonna move on to retirement, I guess.
I was told an interesting tidbit about you. Do I understand that in high school you were into Nordic skiing, cross country skiing in winter months?
Yeah, so I didn't run indoor track until college. I hadn't even worked out on indoor track until college. And actually my first race of indoor, I was telling coach that I didn't even know how many laps there were left. I skied for 4 years in New Hampshire, and for Team New Hampshire for my high school, and it was great, but decided to move to just running in college.
And Bretram, a little birdie by the name of Tosin, also told me that when you were in high school, when you were a senior, he said, did you have an injury that precluded you from doing a lot of things?
Yeah, actually in February, my first indoor meet, I had a complete tear of my semitendinosus hamstring tendon, and I missed 5 months. And so I didn't compete until July of that year. And at the time, Coach JJ was our coach, and he told me he just wanted me to run once to see how I was doing and then come into fall training. So yeah, I missed my entire senior season in high school, and it's tough missing another season, but everything's out of my control. So.
And what are you doing right now in terms of, are you just working out, running on your own, staying in shape, or I mean?
Coach Gabu told me when we went home, he was like, you can take some time off, because I've also been dealing with hamstring problems in college as well. This year I had a strain in a pool, so in the same hamstring. So he wanted me to just take some time off, and we start up, I think, next week. So I start back with the team next week. But since we got the news that our season was canceled, I've just been resting up and trying to let my body get back to where it needs to be.
And Bretram, what are you concentrating in here at Brown?
That's been a journey for me, but I finally made a decision, and I'm going to concentrate in cognitive science. I'm doing the science track, and I am technically a pre-med student, but we'll see if I end up in med school.
All right. Gracie, how about you? What's your concentration?
I study biology with the Bachelor's of Science track. Yeah.
And so what would you like to do with that? How would you apply that after graduation? Would you go to med school or?
Yeah, I am looking into going into med school. I just got my study materials for the MCAT, so I've kind of, sentenced myself to at least trying. Yeah, that's what I plan on doing.
And have you been involved in some type of research?
Yeah, I have done research at Brown and then at UNC Chapel Hill over the last 2 summers. So at Chapel Hill, I was involved in some HIV research, HIV/AIDS. And then here I do microbiome research with a mouse model at a lab that's just on campus.
That's terrific. And far above my pay grade, I can tell you that. Zion, I want to get your opinion. I know, unfortunately, your track and field days here at Brown are over with, but what was it like working with Coach Hunt? Because obviously you two must have worked very well together, given all the success that you've had in your 4 years here.
It was absolutely just, I want to say amazing, but I don't think I can honestly put the correct word to describe our relationship. He has been there for me since I was a freshman. And when I was a freshman, I was kind of all over the place. It was like my first time trying to really navigate how to balance this social life, academic life, and also this athletic life. And he was really there and very patient with me. And he would always say, just trust the process. And as I've gotten older, I was able to just trust him. And I really have to say, he has played a huge role in any little bit of success I've had. So it's been great. He's just been very much a figure that I've looked up to, and I'm very much like a guiding figure, and just played a huge role in my time here at Brown.
Coach Springfield, how do you, I guess, temper the sadness of losing two terrific seniors like Zion and Cam, but at the same time, you've got two great juniors and a lot of other great student athletes returning as well, like Gracie and Bretram?
Yeah, it's a fact of life in college athletics that seniors graduate. Usually they get to finish their competitive careers before that happens, though. So it is a little bit, it was really kind of emotional when we had to say goodbye in such a rushed manner, and not have that sense of finality or closure to the seniors' careers that they deserve. Now, obviously, for good reasons. But I told the team, it's okay to experience that sense of loss, even if we recognize that it's for the greater good. It's still a pretty big sense of loss, more than is typical when seniors graduate. But at the same time, next year's team will want to try to build on the successes we had this year. And, we have a lot of talented athletes returning. I think, one thing that all four of these athletes share that will be models to the younger athletes is that they really bring it on the championship day, and that love of competition and being willing to really put it out there on the line when it matters the most is the thing that I think we can take away from Zion and Cam for sure. And also, I think we have a lot of other athletes who can lead by example in that way.
And Coach, during these unique times that we're dealing with right now, how are you and your staff in terms of cross country and track and field handling the recruiting process?
We're all kind of like, I think coaches across the country are trying to figure out what this landscape is like and how to navigate it. And so the head coaches at Brown have been meeting via Zoom weekly and bouncing ideas off each other. And so, we're putting together kind of in sense of virtual home visit that we can do via Zoom, where we can show, usually the juniors are coming to campus now and walking around and meeting the coaches. And so we'll try to do that with video and with, Zoom calls, and put together a little presentation about here's campus and here's the program, and just try to make the best of the tools that we have.
Cam, how has remote learning been going? Have you enjoyed this? I know it's not the same as being on campus and being in the classroom, but what's it been like for you?
Yeah, I do like being in class and being able to interact with my professors and my classmates, but it's been okay. It's been slow. I actually today I worked all morning, and then I'm thinking I'm doing this and I'm going to go exercise. I can't do more, else I won't have anything to do for the rest of the week. But yeah, it's been a little slow, but all my professors have been great, and I think everyone's just trying to figure out how they fit into this. So,
Zion, same question for you. What's it been like, this whole remote learning process?
It's definitely been a transition, but on the whole, just like Cam said, I feel as though my professors personally have been really great and understanding. So they've made the transition a lot easier.
And I know the university announced that graduation was postponed. Is there still some consideration, if things get better, of maybe having some type of ceremony in the fall? Did I read that correctly?
I do believe that we have a ceremony in the fall where we get to walk. So that's very exciting and something to look forward to.
Yeah, that would be nice. You guys deserve it. That is for sure.
Yeah.
Brett, Gracie, same question to you in regards to remote learning. How's it gone so far for the both of you?
I kind of I don't have a problem with it as like so much. All my professors have been like really accommodating. I've I've moved a lot of my exams, and honestly, I've never felt so prepared for a lot of my assignments, and I'm honestly caught up. And like, yeah, this happened in unforeseen and unfortunate circumstances, but I don't have a problem with it. I'm looking forward to the rest of the semester. I think it's gonna go well. So
Yeah,
it is.
honestly, sorry.
Oh, I was just saying, like, it is kind of tough because both of my parents are working from home, and as of like right now, they are both holding meetings. So trying to study and doing what my like dealing with my parents in meetings, it's kind of tough. But for the most part, it's going well.
Yeah. Gracie?
Honestly, the part that's been the most different has been not having track practice, because that was just such a big hunk of your day that's just gone now. So I think a lot of why some of us are maybe experiencing like a little bit more preparedness with classes and stuff is because we don't have that 3.5 to 4 hour sometimes, um, where you're just working your absolute hardest, but not on academics. And it's of course worthwhile, but now we just kind of have that extra time to do the work and like to run safe errands and stuff like that. But yeah, school's been good. I took an exam in my apartment last week, which was definitely a unique experience, because our upstairs neighbors were playing music quite loudly. So that's not usually a problem in Barris and Holly, but yeah, it's been good. It's been interesting, and it's just a matter of staying focused and not getting distracted in your own home is probably the hardest part.
All right, last question for all of you, and you don't all have to tackle it if you don't want, but I know Zion and Gracie, you're still on campus, but nobody's around. It's not the usual hustle and bustle that you'd have. What do you guys miss most about being on campus? Cam, you want to start with that one?
Yeah, I can start with that one. I was actually on campus. I'm on Cape Cod right now, so I stopped through. I saw Gracie for across the street. I miss all of my. I lived with 6 of my teammates, and I just miss being able to be around them all the time. They're all now just they've split across the country, and I do miss walking into the men's locker room. I haven't seen Brett in 5 weeks, I guess, and it's just walking in the OMAC. It's you don't realize how many people you see day to day. It's been a little devoid of that, but it's okay. It's relaxing. So.
Bretram, how about you?
I think pretty much the same as Cam. I just really miss my teammates, all my friends, the social aspect of it. Not seeing. I mean, I love my family. I love my parents and my brother, but seeing the same 3 people every day, it gets tiring, and I just really miss my teammates. Those are like my brothers, and the girls team is like my sisters, I say, and I really love them all, and I miss them all. I think the most part that I miss it the most is seeing my teammates.
Zion, how about you? What do you miss about seeing everybody on campus?
I just miss the overall hustle and bustle of campus and the atmosphere that creates. I think that Brown does a really great job of putting together a really great group of students who you can just sit down and have a intellectually stimulating conversation. So I definitely do miss that overall atmosphere that campus creates when it's full of students.
Gracie, is Thayer Street and campus kind of a ghost town right now?
Very much so, yes. There's kind of nothing really going on when you walk around, and it is I agree with Cam and Brett and Zion, where I just miss my teammates so much. Like, we've had a few birthdays that we just celebrate in the group chat, but you really just want to be able to see that person and say hi at practice. But yeah, Providence is kind of dead right now, which is good. So
Well, Coach Springfield, I want to thank you for joining us today, and good luck to you and your staff as you try to keep this thing together and get ready for the fall season. And I really want to send a shout out to the 2 seniors, Zion and Cam. Thank you for all that you've done. And, sorry that your careers had to end this way, but we can't thank you enough for everything that you've done for the program and how you've represented Brown University. You've made us all very proud.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
All right, guys, thanks for joining us. And everybody, please stay safe.
thank you.
All right, Tim Springfield, Cam Daly, Brett Rogers, Zion Lewis, and Gracie Whelan with us on the Brown Bears Sports Report. My name is Scott Cordischi. Have a great day, everybody.
This has been a presentation of Learfield IMG College.